Welcome back, fairy friends. This video is going to be a compilation of some of my favorite fairy dolls that I've created over the last year. It could go back into 2016, so from 2016 to the present. Most of these dolls will be those that I made in those years. Also, I wanted to read a little bit from a book called The Little People, and it's a storybook. The Stories of Fairies, Pixies, and Other Small Folk, written by Neil Phillip. I'd like to read the chapter, it's just a short one, on the fairy folk. There are a bewildering number of different kinds of fairies. Some, often called trooping fairies, live in societies rather like those of the humans around them. Others live solitary lives, often attached to a particular place or a particular human family, or devoted to a particular occupation, such as the Irish leprechaun and his shoemaking. This book is largely confined to the fairy folk of Northern Europe, for the fairy lore of the Germanic, Scandinavian, and Celtic peoples is especially rich. However, the fairy kind are to be found all over the world. France has its naughty lutins, Italy its folletti, who travel in knots of wind and control the weather, Russia its forest spirits, and some are helpful, such as the Masariol of northern Italy, who is a jolly little fellow in a red hat, with a laugh like a horse and the face of an old man, who helps the farmers at their work. Others are best avoided, such as the Vila of Eastern Europe, a kind of female nature spirit with a vengeful and capricious nature. In the west of England are to be found the pixies, sometimes spelled pigsies or piskies. These are mischievous but not malicious. These are creatures who dress in green. They have red hair, pointed ears, snub noses, and squinty eyes. That kind of sounds like my fairies. Their chief idea of fun is to mislead travelers, and someone who loses his or her way may have been pixie-led. The only way for the poor traveler to escape their spell is to turn his or her coat inside out. Also in the West Country live the Spriggans, little fairies who, like the Cored of Brittany, an ancient Celtic kingdom in northern France, are associated with standing stones and buried treasure. A Cornish story tells how the lure of finding such treasure tempted one man to kidnap a Spriggan child, and that story is called Skillywidden, and that's the next story in this book. And so that's where I'd like to ask you if there's any interest out there for me to read more of these fun stories about fairies. I have a collection of fairy tale books that are from the 50s on up to present, and I would like to start creating some fairies, not just in my own style, but according to the descriptions in these older fairy tales to go along with the story. So if there's any interest there and you'd like to hear some more of these interesting older fairy tales and folklore, just comment below, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much.